Hello guys, EsmReparlana here, also known as Lana. So I've decided that I'm going to make a vlog series about the North American piercing blow scene, formerly known in North America as Project Blackout, and known around the world as Point Blank. So for this vlog series, I've decided that I wanted to talk about the stuff that's on my mind about the game, and talk about the history of the game, and interview some of the OG players and find out how they feel about the game. So one of the most frequently asked questions that I get is, how did I meet the starting 5 members of my current clan? So I'm going to start with the person that I've known the longest, and that would be Ant. I met Ant when I was recruited into ESM, and he is an original ESM member. What I mean by he is an original ESM member is he's not one of the first founding members, but he is very, very close to being a founding member, and he was someone that was in ESM for a long time, and that was the clan that you would associate Ant as. So when I joined ESM, the clan had a ridiculously high standard to join, and how I got recruited was I played against them, and I top fragged, and I did good. And Ant was about a 62 KD back then as well, and we were both basically considered the noobs in ESM, although everybody loved us, and we were both very popular in ESM, because a lot of people in ESM were jerks. And although a lot of the people watching this video now might associate ESM as being a hacker clan, and they would be right to some extent, but I'll leave that for another video, which I'll talk about it more in depth. So the next player I would like to talk about is an old school beta player who's been kicking my ass since beta, and that would be John, otherwise known as Moxie or Untitled. I formerly met John when I joined CQB. He was a part of one of the dominant CQB lineups that included Sobifear, Smoke, Lenny, and Sick, and a few of the other French Quebec players. John is a very humble, reserved guy, so I think it would be really cool to interview him, and I bet he would have a lot to say. And it would be cool to get his perspective because he's been playing for so long. I've played a lot of different FPSs with John, and John is a beast at every FPS that I've ever played with him, which is ridiculous that he can just pick up a game so fast and be so good at it. A lot of people call John a hacker, which I find slightly amusing because John has played on OCG anti-client and on the CSN anti-client. So John is just one of those really skilled players that has been kicking my ass for so long, so that's why I recruited him to play. So the next player that I would like to talk about is one of the players that I've had the most history with, and that player would be Batman. When I met Batman, we all used to make fun of him because he was in Nasty House, but that just goes to show that you shouldn't really judge a player by the clan that he is in. My friend Parm convinced me to join Nasty House in order to play with Batman, and quickly I learned how good of a player he was. Even back then, Batman was probably a top 10 player stranded in a shitty clan. So we played together for a while, but we ended up leaving because it was Nasty House. And then, a little while later, Batman ended up leaving, and he started to play with Vince. Originally, me and Batman were going to play together in a clan with Vince, but all kind of drama ensued. And I'll save that banter for another video. But there have been times on and off, even between the drama, that I've talked to Batman and that I've played with Batman. The time that me and Batman played together on AC, we were the best clan on AC. I love playing with Batman because he'll do whatever it takes to win. On AC and on PB, if me and Batman go over a map, we'll go over maps for hours on end, just throwing smokes, talking strats, and talking everything through. I played a lot against Batman, and I'm glad that I'm playing with him. So the last player of our PBNC team that I'm going to talk about is Napkins. Napkins is one of the most individually interesting players in Piercing Blow NA. Napkins has played PB since 2008, and if you recall, Project Blackout didn't come to North America until late 2010. So how is this possible? Well, the explanation is that Napkins is a dual citizenship. He played PB Thailand in 2008 when he was living in Thailand. He was one of the original members of the clan Myth Glamorous Crazy. If you've heard of that name, it's because that they represented Thailand at PBIC in 2012. One of the biggest misconceptions about a lot of the Thai and Indo players is that they are hackers. Although a few of them hack, a lot of them are just pros that have played competitively on the other version and have switched over to this version to come play. So anyway, I met Napkins after CSN, and then we started playing together in OCG. In my opinion, Napkins is one of the most underrated players on PBNA. He's been playing with me for the past 3 years, and somehow people still don't know his name. In my opinion right now, he's the best player on PBNA, and if you disagree with me, then you're just going to have to wait until the LAN in the California to find out how good he actually is. To wrap this video up, I wanted to talk about two other insanely skilled PB players that are in my clan, and both of them kind of have a bad reputation, whether it's undeserving or not. So I'll start with BTV. BTV is a similar story to Napkins. He's been playing PB for the last 3 years. He's recently come over to PBNA to study abroad, to go to university. So BTV was one of the original KOTH players, King of the Hill Thailand players. BTV does not hack, and BTV is an insanely skilled Thai player. So the last guy that I'm going to talk about in my video is an old school beta player. He played in ACG, Altus Kogai Gaming, clan led by XRise, and he's British. He's a former Quake 3 pro player. He's played LAN for Quake 3, and he still plays competitively for Quake 3. His clan's won something like 4 years in a row for one of the leagues that they play in, and he is a really insane player. Some of the best players that I've ever met on PB, they told me they were former Quake players. As most of you know, Lucy was a Quake 2 player, and I know that John has played Quake. So Tox is just a mammoth. He's so funny. He always has me balling on TS, and he just showed out of nowhere, and it's been so much fun playing with him since.